welcome to the Conference 1A Division I State Championship postgame press conference. We're joined by Westbrook High School Head Coach Homer Matlock. Coach, if you'll introduce your two student athletes.
This is senior Parker Matlock, and this is junior Grayson Jeffrey.
Coach, if we'll start things off, your initial thoughts about the matchup today.
Ooh, man. They're really good. They played really well. No excuses. They got after us today. They did a really good job. We didn't execute like we should have executed today. We were just kind of out of sync a little bit. I don't know that it matters. They were on another level from us today.
Questions?
So can you kind of talk about Gordon's speed? It seemed like that was really on display.
Yeah, it definitely was. And part of that is we didn't do our jobs to contain, But they are super fast. We knew that going in. They're a really athletic group of kids and really good. And yeah, once they got out there, we was having trouble containing that.
You've been in the situation the last couple of years on the other side of it, obviously, but where you probably felt good about going into next year and contending again for a state title. I mean, could you give me, I guess, an insight to maybe, because Gordon's full of sophomores themselves. I mean, how do you see? What do you see for them? I guess just kind of curious from your.
I think they're going to continue to get better, and that's scary. They're really good. We're losing a really good group of seniors this year. A really good class. We have a lot of kids that coming up that are hungry to prove that they can get after it and deserve a spot to play. And so, I think the future looks good for us as well. But yeah, there's a lot of upside to Gordon right now.
If you would talk about your or how you feel about your senior class and what those guys obviously accomplished for your programs.
Oh man, when those guys were freshmen, we hadn't won a playoff game in 20, 21 years or something. Those guys come in and they've never not played over Thanksgiving. But they do things right. They worked hard. They bought into the weight program. They're really good kids. Come from really good families. We're going to be missing them big time. They're really good leaders. On a coaching side of it, we didn't have to coach attitude. We didn't have to coach the other stuff. We just got to coach X's and O's, and I can't brag on that enough. They're good kids, and they're making good choices outside of the field, outside of practice, and that's a big deal for a coach, not to have to worry about that. And that's just the kind of kids I have right now.
Parker, not a lot of people get to play for one state title, much less three. Can you talk about, as a senior, in the legacy you guys have left as a senior class, like your dad was just talking about, what that means to Westbrook going forward, the fact that you got to play for 3 times?
Yes, sir. I think it's really big for the people under us just to see that, I don't know, maybe it is possible, and just have a goal, because they can just see that we've done it, and maybe they can just get that vision in their mind and just see the work that we put in and maybe say, okay, we need to be doing that now and just get after it and hopefully get hungry.
Coach, you seem like you were behind the chains a lot on offense a little bit here today. Were they doing something different up front that kind of had you guys, second and long and third and long?
One of the sayings that we talk about a lot is small things become big things. And small things we couldn't go on a snap count. And so when we're not disciplined enough to go on a snap count, they look really fast because they're jumping our snaps. And so, that's frustrating. It's frustrating as running backs and quarterbacks because you're the ones taking the hits because we're not disciplined on our line. And that gets frustrating. And so we were trying to change some things up to get these guys open. And, again, we didn't handle the things in our control. And that's one of the things we talk about all the time. We have to handle what we can control. And we didn't do a very good job of that.
This is kind of for anybody. Lost the first game of the season, and y'all used to losing games, obviously. But the improvement y'all made and just kind of how that motivated y'all to get back here. I know that you had them 13 in a row to get here, but just how that loss fueled you and kind of led to the successful year.
We got told all the time, starting 2 days in July, that we have a big target on our back and it's never going to come easy. And I think we came into the week 1 kind of headstrong, knowing we were back to back, and we let it slip up on us. And you know, we kind of realized week 2 and then on that we had to pick it up, and that everybody was going to give us their best, and everybody did. We had a really tough schedule, and I just think we did really well on making sure we did the little things right throughout the season and trying to make up for the week 1 loss.
Getting to go to 3 state title games as a program, it's impressive. Kind of putting that into perspective, how does it kind of feel that you were able to make it 3 straight times?
Man, I'm proud of them. You know, we when you start on a run like that, you're not expecting to go 3 times. You're not expecting to go once. You're wanting to go compete week in and week out, and just hope you get better and hope you're playing for a chance to advance. You know, and it never changed any year. We took it 1 game at a time. People were asking about state, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Our playoff run, if we slip up any week, we're going to get beat. That's how tough it was all year. And so, you know, to say I'm proud is an understatement. These kids work their tails off. We're super coachable. The community and the fans buy in so hard, and it takes everyone. You know, I mean, everybody comes together, and it's great for a small town and a community, and so they're super proud of us. And I told the kids before the game today, I couldn't love them or be more proud. It doesn't matter if we win. It doesn't matter if we lose. That's a game, you know. Westbrook's gone through some adversity here recently, and it kind of puts things in perspective, and that's okay. You know, we play the game for fun, and we want to do it right and be respectful and get after it, and that's what these kids did. And so I'm really proud, and yeah, you know, I think we got some big shoes to fill that are leaving, and that's what we get to start working on now.
Parker, I guess last question, like your dad just touched about the adversity and things that happened throughout the playoff run and put everything in perspective. For you personally, how big has it been seeing Zoe back behind the end zone? You know, she's been kind of the driving force behind this run, and you can't leave something like this without talking about her.
Yes, sir. When she was absent from the games, being in the hospital was really hard because I knew after the game I wouldn't get to talk to her and Mom. And so when we played Happy, I got to see her right before the game, and that was just a really big moment. I needed that. And like you said, it's just a driving force, and it's just really good to see her, and I'm happy she got to go on the strip with us.
Final question? All right, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
See, if you want to slide in here, there's room. This person in here.
Sorry, I'm stuck.
There you go, boys.
No, I just didn't want to be in your way when I was going this time.
We're gonna have 2 guys stand up behind and let Coach on the list.
I don't even drive the bus, so I don't. They did all the work.
All right, we're joined here with Gordon High School head coach Mike Reed. Coach, if you'll introduce your 5 student athletes.
Right here to my right is Striker Reed. To his right is Braden Walters. And then to his right is Whit Fuller. And behind him is Caden Crow. And then Riley Reed.
Coach, if you'll start things off, just your initial thoughts about the victory this morning.
Well, it really hadn't settled in. I've been doing this long enough to know that it's kind of sometimes who can kind of catch when 2 teams of that kind of caliber get out. It's kind of who can catch the win the quickest. We've kind of the last few weeks, especially starting with the Abbott week, we just kind of caught fire early in some quarters and just kind of have built off that motivation. And so that's kind of early. The game plan kind of going in, we made some adjustments because obviously they're a very well-disciplined football team and explosive themselves. So making those adjustments early and being able to get some stops, I think we've kind of set ourselves up most of the season with the defensive side. So, but as far as how the flow of the game and things like that went, just to be completely honest, it was just a chess match through most of the game. They're so well coached and just trying to move the pieces where we feel like we can capitalize, and then just hope that the players can kind of make some plays off that.
Questions?
Coach, you've been in this position before, playing the final game of the year, winning twice, losing once with Throckmorton in that 3-year run. What's it like now going home, getting that third win, and winning a title at your alma mater?
Well, I think being at the previous stops, in Rule and in Throckmorton, the first things that you learn is you just can't do it alone. And I thought of being back in Gordon and just the tradition that it had, even though it's kind of been through some hills and valleys since the really late 90s, it didn't take long for some water to kind of sprout that thing going. And it's just been an absolute community win today. I cannot take any credit for any of that part that took place. It just make sure you just get the right people delegated in the right position and trusting them to do that. We've got amazing administration. We have an amazing school board. Our booster club is just second to none. And that's how things were in Throckmorton and in Rule, just to be the backbone of that kind of success, to help communicate what I feel is important. Multiple people have to be able to do that.
You're a senior on a sophomore-heavy team. How did these sophomores handle their business all year?
They just always stay focused. I always help us out.
Wynn's a man of very few words.
Riley, you're named offensive MVP. You had the pick 6. What were you seeing on the field today, and what is it about your team speed that you guys were able to exploit?
I think our speed definitely helps us, just because a lot of teams, I don't think they have all these guys that can run as fast as we can, but it's definitely a team effort. I think any of these guys could have got offensive MVP, so.
One of the unique things about six-man football is you can get a walk-off win. What's that like? Who's with the win a touchdown? What's that like, getting that walk-off or scoring there, you just won the game, and turn around and celebrate a state title?
Well, when I was running into the end zone, I knew that was the score that would end it. But when I turned around, what really made me more excited than the win was all these guys coming after me, shoving me. They were happy. We were celebrating. Yeah, they were probably more happy than I was. I was just glad I scored. They were more focused on the win. But it's unreal. We've had a walk-off touchdown in every game, and I was glad it was just my turn.
What do you remember about the play itself?
We called a split play. We had a split out to the right, and it was him. He said, "Hey, watch me on the slant." But they sent too much pressure. I didn't even get a chance to look at him, so I slipped right, and I saw the middle linebacker. He was going right, so I just went left, and I saw daylight for days. I didn't even tuck the ball. I was like, I need to run as fast as I can so I can get into the corner of the end zone.
They kind of snuffed out the previous drive. Because they sent the pressure right up the middle again. Were you guys wary of that again, getting under center like that, and getting ready to push the ball back?
Well, it was some things that they had done really early in the year in bringing that pressure. The Matlock kid is just a phenomenal football player. And one of the things that we really tried to focus with him is they do such a great job of keeping him in the box against teams, which has really been a strength of their defense. But the strength of our offense is, we really have 6 kids that can catch the football that they have to account for. Obviously, it's easy on the defensive side if you don't have to worry about a lineman being able to catch or something like that. And so the fact that we're so versatile in so many positions, we felt like that would keep the Matlock kid from triggering in. But once they went to that plan and said, listen, what we've been doing isn't really necessarily working, because we kept running him out in routes and getting him away from what he was doing and really trying to get him tired, to be honest with you, with some routes. They just decided to go with the pressure. But there, we ran a screen to kind of set it up on that. And then really the play's called Bob Ross. And in fact, that Prescott's the one that gave it to me when they ran a draw on the goal line in. So we just kind of piggybacked off that and created a draw play called Bob Ross, and it is built off of the pressure. So actually, when they started sending pressure, we actually liked that part because we knew that it would create the seams.
Can one of the kids talk about what, it's been a long time since we're in a state title, getting back here, winning it all, get a sense of what it means to community, and then also your coach?
So our community, I feel like it's really special. A lot of our kids are sons of the old state championship teams. I think it's an accomplishment for everybody in the community.
And if you have an idea of what it would mean to your coach too, it's been a while since he's been.
For our coach, he knows that we work hard. This has been our dream for a long time. So I hope he's happy with us.
Striker, for you and Riley, you guys grew up around winning programs, with your dad being at Rural and Throckmorton. For y'all to get to take part in bringing him home and bringing him a state title in Gordon, how special is that?
I mean, it's more of my coach sitting beside me right now. My dad kissed me on the cheek and sent me off, and my coach gave me a ride to the field house. But it still feels good, and I'm glad he got a championship, got another gold medal. Sometimes I walk around the house and I'll just look at our cupboard and I'll just count the rings that are on his little cupboard nightstand. And I'm just glad that I gave him a part of one.
Coach Reed, you've been at places that, as a guy that coached against you, you always get kids and communities to buy in. What is that, not the secret, we don't give that away, but what is it about getting the buy-in for these kids?
I can't answer that. Maybe I think they would be the better answer. Maybe I can sell used cars. I don't know when I get out of coaching. I think they would be able to answer that question better than Coach Holmes. I think they would be able to answer that.
And Coach, for you, how special is this to win this with your kids? Throckmorton obviously is a special place. You won 2 back-to-back in Throckmorton, kind of built the foundation of success, and now you bring that here and you do it with your kids by your side. That's got to be just incredibly special.
Well, to be honest with you, off of what Striker just said, we hug before we leave, and the only thing I want for my son is I want my son to have the best coach. I want all these kids to have the best coach. So I haven't got to enjoy it with my son yet. His dad's at the house watching it on TV, and it just works for us at the moment. And I'm going to enjoy it with him, and we're going to celebrate and do that. But I just want him to have the best coach he can have. And so, and I want that for all the kids in Gordon, and they're all my sons. And so that part is special.
Coach,
Talk
were you?
about the job of your defense today. I mean, they fantastic. Man.
Well, I think what has really pushed us is our scout team. We have a really good depth. There's some really good football players that didn't get very many reps on the football field tonight. Our junior high just lost 1 game. Our JV went undefeated. We have enough kids who we don't drop off a lot in our depth when one of these kids need a breather. And it's why the Alitos win and the Brocks win. When you show up to practice, you better be at practice. And when you do a drill, if you've got a kid that might not be self-motivated within himself, well, the kid behind him is self-motivated and pushes each other. We've got these 5 individuals, but I'm telling you what, there's some really great kids in that locker room in there that push these guys every day, and then they just feed off each other. It's a really unique group. They're going to probably be playing in the regional tournament to go to the state basketball tournament. They ran at the state track meet, 4 freshmen on the mile relay and 4 freshmen on the 800 relay. Striker was only 2 freshmen that got a Texas Relays invite as a freshman in the hurdles. They went and made a deep run in baseball. They're just a very competitive group, regardless of the sport, and that's what makes them so unique. It makes the defense good. It makes the offense good. They just do their job.
Anybody?
Coming into the game, Coach, were you worried about the experience that obviously Westbrook had over you guys being such a young team? Seems like big lights weren't too big for these guys today.
Well, I think that's just what I was kind of piggybacking off. I mean, we ran with the 6A at the state track meet in front of 12,000 people, that's televised too. And then the baseball, we played Abbott, who ended up being the state champs, and we're playing them toe-to-toe to a one-run game. And every pitch matters, every at-bat matters. In a packed stadium. You can see that Gordon traveled very well today. We have a very passionate community. Every house may be burglarized when we get back, but you know, yes, I think that experience. If you just want to look at just the football side of things, well, then yes, but that didn't scare us. That didn't intimidate us. We respected it very much so, but we have a lot of experience within ourselves. These kids, we brought them here. Our youth program does a great job. We brought our kids here. They do the Red Zone Friday games here. So when they're in the 5th and 6th grade, they've already played 5 football games here. That's the level that we're trying to instill in these kids of where we want to be at that young of an age.
2 more questions.
Tatum, can you talk about how much fun it is on defense when the defense is flying to the ball and setting the offense up for just monster night after monster night?
Yeah, and I've been doing defense this whole year. I've always started. I really get no breaks, but it's fun. I love hurting people and making them sacks and interceptions. It's really fun.
Final question.
All right, Coach. There's a lot of reads in the program. Talk about the family, wives on staff, daughter, son. Talk about the family part of it.
Well, I think the same thing that we talked about earlier. My wife, whether she was my wife or not, I would hire her in a heartbeat. She works harder than 3 men put together. I think every kid would tell you here. I mean, she's the bouncer, she's the backbone of a lot of things behind the scenes. And then to sit there and have your daughter be a part of that and cheering. She's Stryker's biggest fan, and so I haven't got to sit back and enjoy the aspect of it because I married somebody that's a worker and selfless and puts themselves second. So I know that she hasn't even got to enjoy it yet. And that's okay. That's the type of people we have in Gordon. They put other people first, and they'll take the time to enjoy it when it comes time. We'll get us a fire pit, I assure you. And we'll enjoy it. But they're workers first. And the minute we walk out of this room, it'll be all work, getting them to their parents, getting them fed, getting them on a bus, getting them back safely. And you know, it doesn't stop.
Thank you. Congratulations.